Facebook before they start their.
Oh, so we do like a little preview type show on Facebook. Then on the
check out the Facebook Live, you get the backstage access. You get the little tidbit. You know, we said nothing. We literally did nothing, so you didn't miss nothing. I mean, you could go back and watch it on Facebook Live if you want to. You don't got to. Live on,
watch it on both at the same time.
Exactly. You know, connect one to your TV and one on your computer. Watch both of them. But we are back live on Facebook and YouTube and technically Google Plus. But I don't know if anyone ever uses Google Plus to watch videos. I don't think they do. I mean, you could go to our page and watch it, but like just go to the YouTube channel. Just go to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button, and then you go to the Facebook page. You hit the like, and then you go to the Twitter, and you follow us on Twitter at ICW_podcast, and you're done. You're good. You're golden. But anyway, we wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the new XFL coming in 2020. Today was the sort of press conference that Vince McMahon held, kind of just announcing that it's official that that the XFL is coming back. We didn't get a whole lot from this. He did his whole spiel in the beginning on, it's going to be a completely reimagined football and stuff like that. And he did take questions from the press, but even that, he was keeping quiet on a lot of things, like specifics on rules, specifics on teams, specifics on, where the teams might be, like what cities and stuff like that. But we did want to talk a little bit about what we did hear, what we did learn. He said that they're going to try to, listen to, all these doctors and professionals and all that stuff to get the best product that they can. They said that they want to basically shorten the game, whereas, the NFL, you're watching like a 3-hour game. They want to shorten it to at least 2 hours. So it's a quicker, more fast-paced game. They were considering eliminating halftime. And they say they're going to listen to the fans, but this is, at the end of the day, it's Vince McMahon. But any initial thoughts from watching the press conference, DJ?
Well, I think from my initial thoughts, like I like it. I like that he's relaunching it. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he failed the first time. He shouldn't try it again. Shut up. Stop it. Because usually so I'm hoping that he has learned a lot and that it's going to be a big thing for him. Excited. I want to see what they're going to do with it as far as the XFL, and I like that he's trying to
Hello.
But now with this kind of 2-year gap that they have, I think it's good that they're going to try to keep everything a little bit more quiet and try to figure out everything first.
I'm gonna need
before they
that again because you
go deep into detail about it. I like the press conference though.
I'm gonna need you to say what you just said again because you froze.
You also froze, so I was very confused. But what I was saying was, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Yeah, my internet's giving me issues tonight anyway. So, but I'm excited. I don't know why, but whatever. I'm excited about it. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he shouldn't start the XFL again. Didn't he fail the first time? Like I know, like the harshest critics of Vince McMahon are going to say, oh, didn't he fail it the first time? But I feel like the biggest successes you have come start from failures, even mini failures or complete failures. And I think he's taken time to learn a little bit. I think, although he said that taking the knee and that whole controversy with that and the ratings going down with the NFL isn't going to affect. It didn't affect his decision. I think it did a little bit. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that he wants to kind of see that he can change. But like I said, I like that they didn't give too many details into it yet, because I think they don't even know yet. Like, I think they're still in the process of thinking about it, and I feel like Vince has been thinking about it at least since this was the XFL or whatever ESPN special. So I'm excited for it, though. I think it's a good opportunity for a summer league. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's a good opportunity for a summer league for a lot of these guys who still want to play. And he talked about kind of the quality as well. There's a lot of really good players that just aren't ready, aren't polished enough for the NFL yet, or whatever, that are really good players like that. And I can say that about the CFL because I watch the CFL a lot. The CFL has a lot of really good players that just aren't necessarily ready for the NFL at that particular time. And also, I think he might be able to pull a little bit from the AFL too, simply because when you think about it, I feel like I don't think the NFL looks at the AFL a lot as much because the field's so much smaller. It's such a drastic change from the NFL that I think having this XFL kind of intermediate area maybe could be a really good thing. And also, you got guys like T.O. who still wants to freaking play, but just can't find a job because he's older. So,
first of all, not going to be a summer league. Going to be from February to, you said February on, so I don't know
how. League, sorry, spring league. It's like right after the NFL season, pretty much.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'm going to give it a shot. I think, they're not going for what the XFL was before. They're not doing the, hard hitting extreme football. They're not doing that anymore. They're doing more of a legitimate football league, which I like. I like that idea. What working at? But I do like that, so I want to give it a shot. I do want to see kind of what they do with it. Kind of sucks that we have to wait 2 years because the hype's gonna kind of get up now. And I'm gonna go farther back. I don't think it just I think as soon as the original XFL failed, knowing Vince McMahon and knowing how he works, I think the very next day he was like, "We're gonna reboot it. We're gonna bring it back." So I think it's been since 2001 he's wanted to bring this back, and I think the documentary or ESPN special definitely helped with that. But I think since then he's wanted to bring it back. He just hasn't had the ability to.
I think one thing too that already, and I feel like obviously it's in its initial stages of planning and everything, but just from the press conference, like before with the XFL, it felt like wrestling football, if that makes sense, right? Like it felt like it was WWE football, right? Like the way they were doing everything, and like now, like even one of the guys asked a question about it being its own separate entity instead of being kind of into WWE. Obviously, it might go on the network, because Vince can do that and just see how people would gauge it. But and I think, to be honest, I would even put I don't know how bad it was. The first XFL, I wasn't really around back then. I mean, I was, but I wasn't old enough to remember it, or I wasn't old enough to pay attention to it, I guess, because I really didn't like football back then. But I feel like if I was Vince, I would put some of the old XFL games on. If they, obviously they probably still got them somewhere on the network, just to gauge how people would watch it, just to gauge kind of its traffic, maybe even on Facebook. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a double-edged sword. Like, I don't know if that's a thing you want to do to gauge the traffic, but then it doesn't end up being good as far as like the quality is concerned, and you screw yourself. So I don't know. I really don't know what they could do with that. But I think if they introduce the XFL to their core audience, then they can kind of see, like, even though obviously it's different from WWE, that they can still like gauge how people would interact with it, not interact about it, I guess.
Well, and I'm going to disagree with that just because he said they want to do more of a legitimate football league, not the wrestling football as you put it. And put that on there because and we talk about this all the time. We don't want to forget the past, and we say it about Impact all the time, where we don't want them to forget where they came from. In this case, I think it's okay to kind of forget about the old XFL to an extent. If you are trying to just make a completely different, legitimate football league, you don't want your fans to think that it's that and then it be something completely different. You don't want them to think that it's the old XFL, and then it's more of an actual football league. But then I am wondering kind of who they're gonna pick from. Because like you said, they could go from the CFL, they could get guys from the AFL. There's a lot of really good, at least currently. I don't know. Obviously, 2 years in the future changes a lot of things, but there's a lot of really good free agents in the NFL right now that you can that don't
also guys who are backups and want to actually show that they can play.
Exactly. Exactly. It's kind of like a lot of guys who are backups in the NFL or can't get on a team in the NFL. They go to the CFL or they go.
And I think too, like that might open up the door if, freaking God forbid, 2 years down the road these guys still don't have jobs. RG3, Johnny Manziel, guys like that who still want to play but just can't for whatever reason. The NFL, like not necessarily the NFL won't let them, but like teams are blackballing them or whatever. Like there's a lot of times you can take chances on these guys and they can still be really good for your team. We saw with Michael Vick. He went in a different situation, but still, he was kind of on the edge of the NFL. Didn't anyone really want to talk about him anymore. He felt like he was kind of irrelevant, but then he came back for the Eagles that year, and that was huge for him. Like huge for not only his life, but like just huge in general that somebody gave him a second chance. And I think that's kind of what the XFL can be too. Not necessarily for everybody, but like for some of these players who like probably still got it, but aren't getting chances, like RG3 and Johnny Manziel. Colin Kaepernick is another one who I feel like is still got solid time left on his, I guess, football time clock. But
I would even put a guy like Tim Tebow because he said it's more about the quality of the person. So they want good people too. They don't just want good football players. They want good people.
And I feel like that's the tough part though, because for example, if he goes and one of his teams obviously owned by the XFL Enterprises or whatever they're calling themselves, if he goes and picks up like Ray Rice, for example, then immediately he's going to get backlash, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to get backlash because, didn't you say it was about the quality of the person? But I feel like too, like that's kind of the thing. Like you can't, like some of these guys, like I'm not saying all of them, but I'm sure some of these guys have turned themselves around. I know Ray Rice is giving back to domestic violence victims and everything. Like he knows it was a mistake, right? From hearing him talk about it and hearing him saying that he'll give his whole, his whole check to domestic violence research and domestic violence help and whatnot. So, like, I think that's the hard part because you can say that, but I think the issue is if you pick up somebody like that, then the first thing that somebody's going to say, oh, well, didn't you say this at the beginning of, 2 years ago, right? Like, and I think that's the hard part because there are a lot of these guys that do deserve second chances, even if they have messed up, because sometimes football is the only way to get away from, sometimes for some people, like, whatever their job is, and for football players especially, football is a way to get away from kind of some of the issues that are really going on.
Yeah. Also, I was trying to think just in general, where are these teams possibly going to be, from? He said one of the things he said is it's not going to be franchises. It's going to be, the XFL is going to own all these teams, so it's not going to be the franchise system. So I'm wondering kind of where are they going to, have all these teams at? I mean, part of me, obviously, you want to go where, there's a big, demand for football. But I feel like at the same time, you don't want to go necessarily, especially if you're an up and coming league. I don't think you really want to go to, say, like a Dallas where the Dallas Cowboys are, or, you know, a New England where the Patriots are. I would almost go maybe where there are college teams that don't necessarily have um, an NFL team or a CFL team, whatever, because then you have the stadium that they can use, but you don't have to worry about, are we competing against, even though it's out of season, are we competing against, all this team who are, very loyal to their team, so they're not going to necessarily, jump right on the bandwagon for another team.
Yeah, I think too they should. If I was the XFL, I would be trying to get in places like you said that don't have pro teams, because there's a lot of fan bases. Virginia is one of them. Doesn't have a pro team, and I mean, because we have to like say Washington or something like it's bad. But like there's a lot of states that don't have pro teams. Now I wouldn't go to like North Dakota, but like obviously go to some of these places where the fan base is there, but they just don't have a pro team. Also, if I was the XFL, another thing I would be trying to do maybe in the first couple of seasons is make sure that you do hit Canada. Make sure you have a team in Canada, maybe even have a team overseas or something, so you can get that demographic in there. Because if you have a team from, for example, the United Kingdom, then the United Kingdom fans that don't have a team for the NFL yet are going to be like, oh, well, at least we got a team for the XFL. Let's see what, at least for the first little bit, they're going to check it out.
Yeah. Also, one of the things I actually liked is, for one, Vince said he's not going to be the focal point of it. It's going to be other people. He's not going to be in the forefront of it. Also, he said that there's going to be no kind of overlap basically with WWE. So if you're a WWE superstar, you're not going to switch over and play in the XFL. If you're an XFL player, you're not going to switch over and play and be a WWE superstar, which I like. I like that keeps them kind of separate, because I think, yes, WWE is going to kind of help with the popularity of the XFL, but I think at the same time it needs to be its own thing. It doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't need to be the old XFL that was heavily WWE, and it needs to either sink or swim on its own, basically.
Yeah, and I think too, like, it would be hard for you to wrestle and play football at the same time. Like, I feel like that would be really difficult and really hard on your body.
Even like if you wanted to, like, okay, say I don't want to wrestle anymore, I want to go play the XFL now. You're not going to be able to do that, which I like. It keeps guys where they are.
Well, I think too, like it would be hard for guys who play in the NFL, even if they are backups. I still think it would be hard for, like, you'd have to try to get them like a season in advance or something, so they're not, because I think football is one of those sports where you can't play it year round. Like, you're not, like, it's too rough, I think, for you to play year round. So I think that's going to be the hard part. Is like, especially during this initial finding players type thing. Like, if you try to get guys from the NFL, well, you don't want them to play. You really don't want them to play, like, it starts in 2018. You don't want them to play the 2017-2018 season, to be honest, because they're going to be beaten up and bruised up before you even get them.
Yeah. The other thing that he said is, with it being a shorter game too, they're going to also make simpler rules for people to understand, which confused me, being a football fan for a long time. Like, I understand the rules, so I'm like, they're not that hard though. So I'm wondering how they're going to make, these rules simpler. How are they going to make it? It's just it's I don't know.
I can't. He said something, and I was like, "What?" Like I can't remember what it was though. Like I'm trying to think. Right?
We're gonna play football where football is played.
No, it wasn't that one.
What?
It was something he said that was just off, like it was just off the wall. Like it didn't make any sense at all. But I don't remember what it was. But it was hilarious. I was like, "What is this man?"
I mean, he is 80, so like, you don't know what he's saying.
It might have been the rules thing. I can't remember. It was something. It was something around that point though. Like I was like, it was like, but I'm pretty sure it was before the questions, like before the questions part.
Okay, so go watch it real quick again. Mute yourself. Go watch it again. Find out what it was. Because now I'm curious. Now I really want to know. I really want to know what it was. So DJ's muted for a second. He's gonna go back and figure out what he heard Vince say. Because I'm curious now. I wanna know. And thanks to all the people that are not watching on Facebook Live. Yeah, love y'all. But let's see what let's see what did Vince say that was just completely crazy. What was it was asinine. Do 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 do. No Jeopardy music. Gotta keep the people entertained while you listening. Gotta keep them all entertained until you come back with your stuff and things and things. Oh, okay, okay. He's saying words, but he's muted, so I don't know what he's saying. So we gonna wait. This would be a good time if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, and go over to Twitter at ICW_podcast. Hit that follow button. Check all the stuff out. Go to Instagram. We got an Instagram. I think that's also ICW podcast or ICW_podcast. I don't remember if there's an underscore on that one.
Yeah, it's ICW_podcast. It was the thing about halftime. I was like, how you gonna do that though? Like I was like, how are you gonna eliminate halftime? Like I understand what you're saying, but like halftime is pretty much needed.
I mean, depends on how much they shorten the game.
Also, yeah, like how would they shorten the game too? Like are you gonna make them play 5-minute quarters?
I mean, they could do. I think they could still do like 10-minute quarters, which wouldn't be that much shorter, but it would still drastically shorten the game. But and then also, are there going to be less penalties? Are there going to be less, reviews? Are like all these things make the NFL games longer than they need to be. So again, there's still a lot more questions than answers that we have right now. Hopefully, they steadily give us more information over the coming months and years, next 2 years, before the XFL comes back in 2020. Hopefully, we find out where the teams are. Maybe they bring back some of them retro XFL jerseys. That He Hate Me jersey. Everybody needs that. Everybody needs that He Hate Me. Are they going to be able to put their own custom names on their jerseys? That's what I need to know.
I feel like that was one of the best points.
Like, is there going to be a He Hate Me too? Like, is that going to be a thing? I need to know. But be sure and hit the like, hit the share, leave us a comment that we totally check all the time.
We do. We do. I get notifications when we get comments.
Yeah, DJ checks the comments all the time. He the comment guy. He the comment guy. I'm the Twitter guy, so you do something on Twitter, I check it out. I said, "What's up?" We did get a request for a video.
That's because this man have notifications for everything. This man got notifications for his notifications on Twitter.
I do. But we did get a request for a review that we're gonna have to, get done in the future. I tell DJ off camera because we got to keep it a secret. But we will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.